Hello and happy Sunday. This is Kelly with IfYouHaveAnEgg.com, and today is Sunday, October the 13th, and I hope you all are having a fantastic week. My voice is much better. I'm still not completely healed, but it is much better from last week. So thank you all very much for letting Alyssa be my substitute during the second half last week. It was greatly appreciated, and she had a fantastic time, and she's still talking about it. But hello and happy Sunday, everybody. Again, this is October the 13th. I can't believe it's already the middle of October. I had a customer ask me last week, what's going on? What happened? How is October almost already gone? And I don't know. I can't explain it. If you are watching this later on YouTube, that's just youtube.com. Search If You Have an Egg. You can see all 383 chats that are already posted over there. So hopefully, if you are new with us, well, first of all, if you're new with us, I hope you will let us know that you're new, because we would love to welcome you. And second of all, I hope you will go back and watch all 383 of the other chats. So let's get some highs and hellos in here. Hello, Mary from Pittsburgh. Hello, Sarah from Raleigh, Massachusetts. Hello, Elaine. Good to see you. And hello, Lynn. And if we have any Florida ladies when you all join in, or gents, Florida ladies or gents, please just let us know how it's going. I'm assuming the fact that you're checking in means that you're okay. But yeah, let us know. We did have a couple of people that were affected in some way. The ladies that checked in with me, and hello, Sandra from Dingman's Ferry. The ones who did check in with me that were kind of near, I'm just going to call it the excitement from Hurricane Milton. They had just, minor issues, a little bit of flooding, some power outages, things like that. But a couple of them had family members that had serious issues. So, yeah, so let me know how that's going. And hello, Vicky. I did not color my hair. I don't know. It's just looking brighter today, probably because Casey and I worked at a market last night and a market today, and we were in the sun for 2 days. So I don't know. Maybe that's it. And hello, Mary Ann. And let's see, there is Sherry. Sherry is back home in Cape Coral, Florida, which is near Pensacola, I think. So yeah, Sherry's one of my affected people, or has a family member that's affected. So thank you so much for checking in. Hello, Carol Lou. But yeah, so today is Sunday. Again, Sunday, October the 13th, and let us know how you are. Let us know how you are. If you are brand new, please let us know, because we would love to welcome you. And again, if you want to watch this later, you can watch it either here on Facebook. So right now, tonight, on Sunday, we are live on Facebook. And hello, Catherine from Lowell, North Carolina. So we're live on Facebook tonight. You can always go back and watch these later on Facebook. I do go ahead and post those as soon as we are done. But if you want to watch them later, if you want to watch a compilation, or if you want to, like put some headphones in and listen to a few of them, you can just hop on over to youtube.com, search If You Have an Egg, and you will be able to find a playlist. And is anybody interested in me posting? Like, would it be easier for you all if I posted the link for that playlist so you can go back and find it instead of having to search? So anyway, yeah, and so Sherry was not in an affected area, but I know we've been checking on, all of our Florida girls. And hello, Melvie, good to hear from you. And hello, Sandra from Naperville. Oh, Sandra has no more rehab. Awesome, so you have graduated. That is fantastic. And let's see. Okay, yeah, good. Y'all are just checking on each other. Okay, so a couple of things. This is October. We do have a new challenge this week. Again, still a little bit creepy for those of you who are just popping in, a little bit creepy on the voice, but so much better than last week. Almost had completely lost my voice by the end of the chat last week. And again, if you were just joining us, thank you for letting Alyssa be my voice for the second half. She had a great time. It did help my voice, and I certainly appreciate you all. So a little bit of news for this week. Today is Sunday. Yeah, it's Sunday. And it's the start of a new challenge. And this one is right up my alley. So I did enjoy the one last week. It stressed me out a couple of days. The no snacking after dinner challenge. Aloha, Kathy. Yeah, there were a couple of days that I was like, I can't do it. I have to have something else. So, and thank you, Sherry. There were a couple of days. So Julie hosts a challenge over in the If You Have an Egg Facebook group every week. And if you are not already in our Facebook group, one of these lovely ladies will post a link, and you have to answer those 3 questions for me to let you in. But last week was the no snacking after dinner challenge that Julie had posted, and I did great except for 2 nights. And those 2 nights, one of them I did talk myself into having I think it was grapes and water. I think it was grapes and ice water or something, or tea. I think I had tea one of those nights, partially because of my throat. But that was what I had one of the nights. And then there was another night that I was just like, nope, forget it. And I had pretzels and some skim milk because I just needed something. Let's see. Hello, Trish. It is good to see you. Yep, I know we're checking in on everybody from the storm. This week over on the If You Have an Egg Facebook group, though, Julie has challenged us to add vegetables to every meal. Every single meal. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, every single meal. I'm in. I'm all in. I'm all in. I can totally do this. And I do so much better when I have vegetables at every single meal. Some of you are thinking, you know what? I'm not just going to add vegetables to every single meal. I'm going to center around those vegetables. Like I'm going to plan my entire meal or a meal a day or maybe a couple of meals this week around vegetables. I think it's a great challenge. Thank you, Julie, for posting that one. I think we are going to have fun with that. Sarah says, I can do that challenge. There are lots of us that can do that challenge, even if that just means that you had one meal every day this week that you added like green beans or whatever your favorite vegetable is. Yeah, Sherry is in. Yeah, a lot of us are going to be in. I know Carol is going to be all over it. Orlando Debbie is going to be. There's Orlando Debbie right on cue. So Orlando Debbie will be all over this challenge. My walking buddy Karen, my accountability buddy Karen, she will be all over this challenge. She has vegetables with every single meal, every single one of them. So remember. And yeah, Sarah's lots of salads too, and I love salads, and Mary Ann's all over it. So remember, this challenge is a challenge for yourself. So you're not competing. So let's say that Sarah decides that she's going to have vegetables with all, like if she decides to have 3 meals a day, and remember when we talked last week, you don't have to have 3 meals a day, but let's say that Sarah decides to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day. So she's going to have 3 meals. If she adds a vegetable to breakfast, lunch, and dinner, that doesn't mean that you lose if you only add vegetables at lunch, or if you only add vegetables to dinner, or if you only add vegetables 3 days next week, or whatever. It's a challenge for you, but this is a challenge just to kind of keep us pumped up. A lot of you all are already saying, I'm in. Molly says she's in, and hello, Barbara from Bonnow. But a lot of y'all are saying that you're in. I am definitely in, so I hope that we will see some chatter over in the If You Have an Egg group for this one, because I think this one's a really good one. Okay, that was a little bit of news. Okay, Debbie Downer time. That egg recall that we talked about 2 weeks ago, I believe. It's the one from Milo's Poultry Farm. We have to stop and talk about this just a second, okay? So it has reached class 1. It's class 1 level with the FDA, with the FDA. So the FDA has moved that egg recall to a class 1, and a class 1 means there is a reasonable probability that the use of the product will cause serious adverse health consequences or death. So we need to escalate this one just a little bit. So that is according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture and to the FDA. So this is Milo's Poultry Farm eggs. These have been recalled. You should throw them all away. It doesn't matter what the expiration date is. They're saying throw them all away, all of them. So the recalled eggs are chicken and duck eggs that are sold under 4 brand names, and the 4 brand names are Milo's Poultry Farms, Tony's Fresh Market, Happy Quackers Farm, and M&E Family Farms. And it doesn't matter if they are regular, cage-free organic. It doesn't matter if it's Milo's, Tony's, Happy Quackers, or M&E Family. Get them out of your refrigerator. Get rid of them right now. Do not eat them. Throw them away. They are recalled. The recalled eggs were sold in 3 states. That is Wisconsin, Illinois, and Michigan. But y'all know sometimes we buy groceries in one state and transfer them to another state, or take them to a family member, or for whatever reason they end up somewhere else, or you live across the border, or you work across the border in another state. So they were only sold in 3 states, again, Wisconsin, Illinois, and Michigan, but 9 states have reported illnesses that are linked to this recall. Those states are California, Colorado, Iowa, Illinois, Michigan, Minnesota, Utah, Virginia, and Wisconsin. First, I would like to say I appreciate them putting them in alphabetical order. Makes it easier for me. But California, Colorado, Iowa, Illinois, Michigan, Minnesota, Utah, Virginia, and Wisconsin. If you have Milo's Poultry Farms, Tony's Fresh Market, Happy Quackers Farm, or M&E. M like Mary, E like Edward. M&E Family Farms. If you have any of those in your refrigerator, in your friend's refrigerator, in your refrigerator at work, whatever, get rid of them now, okay? Again, it's a class 1 now, which is a reasonable probability that use of the product will cause serious adverse health consequences or death. Please get rid of those. Okay. So Trish is asking, okay, so that's all the little bit of news that I have for this week. That's all the gossip that I have for this week anyway. Trish is asking if anybody, Gwen did do her Zoom last week. The easiest way to get the information on Gwen's Zoom, I am happy to share it, but the easiest way to get the information on Gwen's Zoom meetings, and this is just a friends and family, unofficial, it is not, she is an employee of Weight Watchers International, well, actually of a Weight Watchers franchise, of Weight Watchers of East Tennessee, but just know these are not sanctioned by Weight Watchers. Gwen is doing this on her own time. She's a lovely, lovely lady, and we love her very much. But she is doing these chats on her own time, and so they are not sanctioned. They are not regulated by Weight Watchers. She is not giving you any official Weight Watchers information. It's just it's like this. It's a great open chat. It's just a great way to chit-chat with other Weight Watchers members, and you don't even have to be a member to do this. But the best way to get that information is to join Gwen's Facebook group. And yeah, Trish, I will send you a message privately, but for other people who can't get me privately, and hello, Katie. So for other people who can't DM me privately, just go look for Weight Watchers with Coach Gwen. It's WW with Coach Gwen. You will have to answer the 3 questions because this is her own personal group that she has formed out of the kindness of her heart. She is not getting paid for this. Weight Watchers, again, is not reimbursing her for this. And yes, ladies, I will try to remember to do that. But since they are not reimbursing her for this, it is not sanctioned, by Weight Watchers. You have to answer the 3 questions or I will not. I will protect Gwen at all costs. I will not let you into the group if you do not answer the 3 questions. I will just hit delete. I will hit decline if you do not answer those 3 questions. And you don't have to make up fancy answers. It could be something like enjoy at the chat. It could be something silly like John just said, hello, sorry he's late from Bob's base camp. Bob is the tailless stray cat, in case y'all didn't know, who now somehow is sleeping in Casey and Alan's house. I let him out at 5 o'clock the other morning. Why was he inside overnight? Anyway, so just something simple for those 3 questions. That is the best way to find out though. Okay, so we've already made it to almost the 15-minute mark, so we've got to bust it through the rest of this. But I thought the egg recall was important enough that I wanted to spend just a couple of minutes on it because I don't want none of y'all getting sick and especially not dying because you ate some eggs. Because if you have an egg, you have hope. Not if you have an egg, you're going to get stomach upset and diarrhea. That's not what the reason to have an egg. Okay, so who, and thank you, Carol Lou, for posting that. So who sat their bottom in a seat last week? So let's see some Bravo stickers for that. I'm giving Bravo stickers. What am I doing? Sorry, I'm trying to read what Lynn and everybody else is talking about. Let's see some thumbs ups if you went to an in-person workshop. New people, I have not lost my mind. I'm getting in the middle of this conversation. So thumbs ups if you went to an in-person workshop this week, if you sat your bottom in a little chair, or if you went to a Zoom workshop, thumbs ups for that. Let's see some hearts for visiting here with us live last week with my substitute, Alyssa. So, Mindy is eating egg salad sandwich now, so make sure they're good eggs. Yeah, she said they are. Oh, and Charleston, I forgot about that. Yeah, Charleston started their workshops again. I'm telling you, if you all will be sweet, and if you will ask and ask and ask and ask, sometimes wishes are granted. But if you're grumpy when you ask, they ain't bringing nothing back. So Bravo stickers to everybody who sat their bottom in a chair, and Marianne's was in a green chair. So Bravo stickers to everybody who sat their bottom in a chair or who was here with us live last week with Coach Alyssa. Yeah, Bravo stickers, everybody. Okay, we got to bust it through this next 15 minutes. So last week was, but But, okay, I'm sorry, Mindy says be diligent. She's exactly right. But be diligent with just a touch of honey, okay? You definitely attract more flies and bees. You don't necessarily want flies, but whatever, with honey than you do with vinegar. So don't be sour. Don't be a sourpuss. Don't be a grumpy Gus. Just be positive, but stay diligent. Yes, exactly. Mindy says, but kind. Diligent, but kind. That's exactly right. And hello, Lisa from Arkansas. Good to see you. Okay. Whew. So last week, when I was barking through all of this last week, it was chat number 383, and we were talking about all of those days that you've got: Christmas, a birthday, New Year's Eve, another birthday, Thanksgiving Eve, the day after Thanksgiving, the cookie exchange wine party the day after. Oh, hello, Noreen. Yeah, Noreen visits every Friday morning. Yay, awesome. Welcome. It's good to see you. So all of those days that you've got coming up, then there's some kind of a celebration that either you're expecting or maybe you think, okay, we're going to have at least 4 sales reps show up. So that's 4 days that I'm going to count of unplanned, spontaneous, possibly, off track eating, and, all of those days. But what I wanted you to do last week was to think, okay, how many other days do I have that are not, that are within my influence? How many days do I have that are not scheduled holidays? How many days do I have? There was a lot of other days. I think last week when we were talking about it, let's see how many I had. As of last week, I had, 78 other days. So now, let's see, if I had 78, then I still have 71 other days. So I have 71 other days that are not decided for me. The food's not brought in for me. It's 71 other days outside of those party days, holidays, surprise luncheons at work, whatever. I have 71 other days, that are up to me, what I'm going to do with them. So your homework for last week was hashtag all the other days. All the other days. And all I wanted you to do is to make your own list. You could write it down, you could text it to me, you could, just jot it on a sticky note, whatever you wanted to do. How many celebrations do you think you have coming up between now and the end of the year? How many holidays, that are celebrated with food do you think you have coming up between now and the end of the year? What are those obstacle days, going to be? And then subtract that number from the number of days that are left in the year, and those are all of the other days that you have, some kind of control over. So your homework was hashtag all the other days, and let's see how you did. So Lynn has calculated that she only has 4 scheduled days of celebrating between now and the end of the year. That's pretty good. Only 4, so she has, let me think, that would be 74. I think that means she has 74 other days. She has recognized she has lots of other days to keep herself on plan, to make a plan, and to keep herself on plan. So that's fantastic. That's a lot of days to work with. That's a whole lot of days. Sarah told me almost immediately that she is making plans now for how she's going to stay on track for all of those other days. She's going to do some pre-planning. She said that her idea of success would be that all of those other days that she would, be on plan. So I don't know if being on plan for her means tracking. I don't know if that means staying within her points. I don't know if that means making STAR goals and keeping them, whatever that means. Sarah has already started thinking about it now so that she's got a plan for all of those other days that are coming up, which is a lot more. That's a lot more days than she doesn't have. Sarah says, she's going to work around the holidays. And then Nicole has just over 60 days left. So she had a lot of celebratory days. And I think part of those were like medical food, or like, like food, or what am I trying to say? Like drug reps bringing in food. People bringing things to work that were unplanned, that she can't say, okay, I'm going to have, 17 days that a rep is going to come in and leave food. I mean, she doesn't know exactly how many it's going to be, so she just took her best guess on holidays, days that reps were going to bring in food, and all those other things, there in the office. And so she's guessing that she has just over 60 days. So just over 60 days that she doesn't have a celebratory meal, something that's out of her control. That's 60 days that that she doesn't have somebody else deciding her food. It's still a lot of days. So let's see, if we have 78 days left, that's still a lot of days. 60 is a ton. So she made a commitment this week that she is going to pre-track the day before. So each one of those 60 days that she has left, that are all the other days are 60. So for each one of those 60 days, she is going to pre-track her meals the day before. So that means the 18 days that are, the holiday or the rep or the whatever, doesn't mean she's going to go crazy. But for all the other days, she is going to pre-track just one day before, not a week before or a month before or today. She's going to pre-track the day before, because Nicole said for her, if she pre-tracks it, if it's already in her tracker, she is way less likely to change it. She said if it's not tracked, sometimes she gives herself a little bit of, creative license with what she's going to eat. But she said if it's already in her tracker, even just the night before, she is much more likely to stay on track. She's much more likely to eat what she had planned. So bravo. And wait, hold on. Carol Lou has a late entry. She said she has 77. So her all the other days is 77. And she says she can easily stay on plan. So she's saying she can stay on plan 78 other days. That's awesome. Okay, so bravo to everyone who did their homework this week. Alyssa actually asked me if anybody did their homework, because she felt responsible for you guys last week. So yeah, so she was curious to see how you did. So you can still do your homework from last week. Don't make me turn you into Alyssa that you didn't do it. Okay. Yeah. She's pretty hard. She's a pretty hard boss. So yeah, you're going to want to get that done. Okay. This week is chat number 384. And we are talking about sugar, fiber, and carbs. Oh my. Okay. Quick. When I say the word carbs, what's the first word or the first couple of words that pop into your mind? So I'm going to give y'all just a second to answer that. So if I just say carbs, go. What's the first word or two that pops into your mind? And I will take the first one or two, maybe two, that pop up depending on how long it takes. Y'all are on a little bit of a delay from me, so how long it takes to get an answer. So carbs. Okay, Vicky says yummy. There's nothing wrong with yummy. Barbara says bread. My other Barbara says pasta. Sherry says sweets. Okay. Oh, and Marianne, it never shows me what your full answer is. And Karen says with fiber. Okay. So hold on. And Lynn says bread. Okay. So nobody. Okay. Debbie says avoid. There we go. So, but no one said the words essential macronutrient. Essential macronutrient. Gosh, I can't even say it. Essential macronutrient. I can say this word, I promise. Macronutrient. Essential macronutrient. Anyway, those were not the first words on anybody's tongue. Okay. So, but why should it be? It should be. Okay. So let's find out real quick why. So eliminating entire food groups has been a fad from time to time. And it's a big one right now. I've done it. You've all done it. Okay. So there are plenty of diets, past, present, and I'm sure future, that are asking us to eliminate entire food groups. It may be okay to eliminate certain types of food. It may be okay to eliminate certain foods within a food group. Like my friend Karen has eliminated most meat. That is okay, because she did not eliminate all protein. She didn't eliminate all, she didn't eliminate everything. She didn't take an entire food group and eliminate it. But eliminating an entire food group like carbs, it's a really, really bad idea. Eliminating it totally, that's a really bad idea. So why? Carbohydrates are the body's main source of fuel. So I know y'all know this. You know this from Science 101, that when you consume carbohydrates, whether they're good or bad carbohydrates, that your body is going to turn most of it into fuel. If you get too much, or if it's the wrong kind, might not get turned into the kind of fuel that you want it to be turned into. But consuming plenty of complex carbohydrates like fruit, vegetables, whole grains, things like that, it actually can help control your weight. Consuming plenty of complex carbohydrates. And fiber is actually a type of carbohydrate. So, you know, I never really thought about that before, but fiber is a type of carbohydrate. Fiber is a complex carbohydrate found naturally in plant-based foods. You will not find fiber in any animal-based foods in their natural form. Now, if a food is processed and it has fiber added to it, that's different. But it is found naturally occurring in plant-based foods. Okay, your brain on carbohydrates. So simple sugars would be things like table sugar, you know, like white, I don't know why I'm reaching for something, we don't have any, but table sugar, honey, agave, maple syrup, things like that. While delicious, they do not offer much of any nutritional benefit, and they are less filling than fiber-rich carbohydrates. And I'm going to say the word fiber about 50 more times in the next 5 minutes, because we're going to go over just a tiny bit into the second half. On the other hand, though, fiber-rich carbohydrates like fruits and vegetables, I already mentioned, whole grains, beans, peas, lentils, things like that, they play many roles in your body and in your brain, okay? Your brain's preferred energy source is carbs. So let me say that again. Let me say it a different way. Carbs are a necessary source of fuel, of what's feeding fuel for your brain. So, one more time, consuming enough good for you, not simple sugars, consuming enough good for you complex carbohydrates can reduce feelings of brain fog. Have any of you ever had brain fog where you're just sitting there thinking, I don't even know what's going on. What are we even talking about? I have no idea. You don't know what you were talking about, what you were doing. You're just sitting there. And this is not the I laid my keys down and now I can't find them syndrome. I'm talking like brain fog. And I equate brain fog to like taking NyQuil or taking like Benadryl or something, and you're literally just sitting there like it's just thick. Everything's thick. So consuming enough good for you complex carbohydrates can reduce feelings of brain fog. It can reduce those feelings. It can reduce the feelings of anxiety. It can reduce feelings of depression. It can reduce a lack of focus. Like if you're having trouble focusing, it can actually help reduce that, on and on and on. I don't know about you, but brain fog, anxiety, depression, lack of focus, all those things, usually when that happens, it's a lack. It can be, doesn't have to mean it necessarily is, but it can be, or that are 100% is, but it can be from a lack of enough complex carbohydrates. But what does it make me turn to? It doesn't make me think, I need to eat some lentils. Oh, I'm having brain fog. I need to eat some lentils. Oh, I just can't concentrate. I need to eat some beans or some whole grains. So that lack of complex carbohydrates, when that happens to me, it always makes me turn to the simple sugars, the ones that have no nutritional value, don't have any health benefits, and it's a quick fix and then an even quicker crash, okay? Who knows that? Who has experienced that? Who has been lacking in another nutritional, macronutrient? Remember, they're a macronutrient and your brain needs them. So usually when that happens, I want a quick fix like the non-nutritive sugar, and I get a quick fix, but then I get a quicker crash, okay? That is a vicious cycle that my brain and subsequently my body can do without, okay? I don't need that. So instead, let's focus on fiber. Remember I said I was going to say fiber about 30 more times. I think I've only said it about 10 more times. So we need good carbs, okay? We need them. Our brain needs them. Our body needs them. But those good carbs need to be complex carbohydrates. And hello, Marlene from Largo, Florida. They need to be complex carbohydrates. They don't need to be the quick, simple fix sugars. Complex carbohydrates. And as we just found out, so a couple of sections above this, and we just found out that fiber is a complex carbohydrate. Ergo, if we focus on fiber, we are focusing on the good carbs that our brain and our body need as an essential macronutrient. And I said it right the first time that time. So we're going to make it simple. We're going to focus on fiber. Okay. Who is with me? Who is with me? And I can see from the chit chat that a lot of you all are, already in agreement. So hello, Joycelyn. That is your homework for this week. Your homework for this week is hashtag focus on fiber. So it is hashtag FOCUSONFIBER, hashtag focus on fiber. And this really literally can't be any more simple, okay? Simply focusing on fiber in any natural form, complete your homework. That's all you got to do. That's all you have to do. One focus on fiber. This is not a trick. Thank you, Lynn, for posting the homework. This is not a trick. Tell us just one thing that you will eat this week that has naturally occurring fiber, which we already know. We know this from up here in the chat. We know that and yes, Sandra, it is desperately time for some water, but we already know from what we talked about 5 minutes ago, 6 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, that if we focus on something that has fiber in it, just one food that has fiber in it, that food is automatically considered a complex carbohydrate, and that complex carbohydrate is already good for your brain, and it's good for your body. So that's all you have to do. Just tell us one food with naturally occurring fiber that you're going to eat, and boom, your homework is done. So 2 people have already done their homework. Barbara and Debbie, they've already done their homework. And Marlene says, no power here. That was the scariest thing she'd ever experienced. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah. We'll talk about we'll circle back around to that, girls, in a different subject. But yeah, that was not good. Watching videos here, we were like obsessed with watching the hurricane go through. Okay, so that was your homework. Do your homework, do your homework, do your homework. Hashtag focus on fiber. And sorry, I'm gonna sidetrack for a second. Trish just went to Gwen's Facebook account, and is it the the WW with Coach Gwen? Is that the one where you found it? And she found the information on the Zoom information. Perfect. I will try to remember to share that group with you all when we get done with the chat. But remember, you have to answer the 3 questions, or I won't let you in. Okay, so focus on fiber. I know in our meeting on Tuesday that Melissa was going to focus on raspberries, and I have some information for you. So raspberries, delicious. Let me find them here. Raspberries are delicious, and Melissa was going to focus on those because raspberries have 10 grams of fiber, which is a complex carbohydrate, and we need that for good brain health, gut health. It's the best energy source because it's complex carbohydrates. 10 grams, there are 10 grams of fiber in 1 cup of raspberries. And how delicious are they? Okay, so do your homework, do your homework, do your homework. Whew, I'm going to take just a second and segue into the second half. And let's see, I think it was Sandra who reminded me. Yep, Sandra reminded me it is time for water. And we're actually going to talk about water in the second half. So everybody take just a quick break, get you some kind of water. I'm going to take me a little sip right here. This is the only time all week that I know that you have stopped and had something to drink that is considered water. For those of you who are new, if you're watching this later on on YouTube, that's just youtube.com, search If You Have an Egg. When I switch to the apron, that means that we are halfway through and we're getting to usually the fun part. We are getting to something interesting. Usually it's something to learn or something to learn how to do, or we're testing something or trying something out. And so if you just want to see the second half, just look for the apron because that tells you that it is time to do the second half. And yes, Barbara, this cup has been around a long time, but it is part of the second half chat. And that will make sense here in just a second. But yeah, so now you know that we're on to the second half. Okay, this week's second half. And everybody get just another little sip of water because, still got that little tickle in my throat. So this has been chat number 300 and I believe 84. Yep, chat 384, and we were talking about sugar, fiber, carbs. Now we are going to we're focusing on fiber, but what do we also have to focus on if we're focusing on fiber? So if we're adding fiber to our day, and let me tell you again from this article, and this is an article this was like the best, most encompassing of topics that we were talking about edition of Cooking Light, and it's the Cooking Light special issue on Power Bowls. So according to Cooking Light, you can have fun with fiber. They've got a bunch of different ways to have fun with fiber, but they say fiber can help us manage or lose weight, reduce inflammation, protect against heart disease, reduce the risk of type 2 diabetes. Yet most of us don't get enough. 25 grams a day for women, 38 for men. And then they have some fiber-rich foods to check out. And Vicky's exactly right. So, I don't know what's a druplet, Deborah. But Vicky is exactly right. If we talk about fiber, then very next thing that we have to talk about is water, okay? You have to have enough water. You have to have enough fluids. Let me just check this out here. Oh, wow, okay. That's interesting. I will have to come back and read that. Okay, so again, if you are going to get the 25 grams of fiber that are recommended, and if you don't drink enough water, and we're going to talk about water here in a second, if you don't drink enough water, you're going to have a completely different situation. So when we're talking about eating this fiber, if you consume, how do I say this gently? If you consume fiber that breaks down, so that would be soluble fiber. So, some things, when you get them wet, they turn clumpy, or like they clump and kind of stick together. That's still fiber, and it's still going to pass through your body as fiber. But if you don't get enough liquid, it's just going to become a brick in your gut, okay? So you're going to have a different issue in here. So if we're going to talk about fiber, the next thing we have to talk about is water. Also, in this edition of Cooking Light, which is, the front of it looks like this. I bought it because of these pretty power bowls, and I needed something to read while Casey and I were doing 2 markets in 2 days. So we basically did 2 markets in 27 hours, I think, which was a lot, especially on a week after I had lost my voice, but we did okay. We were okay. So when I was going through this, I thought, if we're talking about fiber, we need to go straight into the second half talking about water. So water is hydration. Hydration is water. Okay. So for years, I have been taught, even by Weight Watchers, I have been taught that water is water is water. And if it's adulterated water, so if it's like flavored water or water with something in it or whatever, that it didn't count. So for years, I believe that, and that is a myth. There are a handful of things that you shouldn't count as water, and I do agree with that. But water is water. Fluid, anything that has water in it. So there are fruits and vegetables that have water. Like if you eat more watermelon, you're getting more water, and it counts as more water. I wouldn't count it as a glass, but it counts as more water. If you eat cucumbers, cucumbers are going to have more water. So, certain foods have more water. So you don't just have to drink plain water for it to count as water. Okay. And let's see, I wanted to tell you all that according to Cooking Light, water makes up the largest component of the body, approximately 60% in adults and 70% in children. 70%. And kids don't know. I'm going to segue to kids real quick. We have to stay on top of the girls because they don't know. They don't normally know when they're getting thirsty. But so 70% in children, and the body loses water every single day through urination, which makes sense. Breathing, you're emitting water, you're losing water. Sweating, even if you don't break a sweat, you're losing water, through your pores every day. Your metabolism, excretion of waste, which, okay, pooping, yeah. So I thought that kind of went with the urinating, but okie dokie, I guess it needed to be its own little thing. So replacing the water is critical, okay? It is absolutely critical. And when you bump up the fiber, so when you focus on fiber for your homework this week, you're going to have to pay attention to your water consumption. Also, as you get older, it's harder for you to tell that you're getting thirstier, because a lot of older people are not getting the same kind of sensation. Because, I mean, let's face it, the girls out here that are, and I don't think we have any like 20-year-olds out here, but when you're not a kid, because the kids just are too busy and their minds are too busy doing other things that they sometimes don't realize when they're thirsty and when they need water, and we have to remind them. But when you're like a late teenager into early adulthood, you know, like maybe mid-20s to 30s, you know, you're running, you're moving, you're constantly going, you're, you know, whatever. So you realize a little bit quicker when you're thirsty, you kind of get that, you know, kind of get that thirsty feeling. When you're older and your hormones are changing, maybe you've got like a sedentary, you know, job, you're not moving around as much and you don't realize. I mean, it's different when you're running a marathon. You know, I've got to drink some water. You know you have to. But if you have a sedentary job, you're maybe not thinking, I should probably be sitting here drinking some water, because I'm excreting water while I'm talking and while I'm existing and while I'm sitting here. It's just not something that really runs through your mind. But when you're older, your body doesn't know as much. You can actually, your brain kind of shrinks when you don't have, or like it squeezes in on itself when you don't have enough water. If you already have a dehydration headache, like if you are already low enough on water that it's causing a headache, you are too low on water. And y'all have heard me say before that I was a quart low. Casey and I are both a quart low right now. Again, two markets back to back. Both shows had a porta potty. Blech, that's a whole nother. Y'all think I don't like cottage cheese? I don't like porta potties worse than cottage cheese. I way reduced my water intake both last night for the night market and today for the day market, because no way was I using a porta potty. But now I am more than a quart low. And we need water because it protects our heart. It makes everything move, like our joints need it. It helps keep your kidneys healthy, you know, passing water through. It helps your immune system. Again, things like your weight, it does help to promote healthy weight because everything's kind of running like it should be. It can lessen the risk of early death and chronic diseases, prevents headaches. You know, it just does, water does a lot of things. And I know Sarah's just saying, whoa, and we're focusing on fiber. We've got to get in some water. Okay, so again, for years, I thought it had to be pure, unadulterated water. So I don't know if any of you all ever thought that your water was adulterated, if it had fizzy in it or if it had flavorings in it or whatever. But for years, and actually the program that we were on, the Weight Watchers program that we were on before this one, or maybe it was the one before that one, when we tracked water in our tracker, you were only allowed to track pure water. You couldn't track anything else. So how much water do you need? On average, everybody here, 64 ounces of water a day. 8-ounce glasses is what I've been told my entire life. But actually, according to the National Academy of Medicine, they advise that men have 104 ounces, which is 13 cups of water, and that women should get 72 ounces, which is 9 cups of water. So what does 9 cups of water look like? Each one of these is a cup. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to scoot these over. Maybe y'all can see these. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9? Now I've got to drink 9 glasses of water, 9 cups of water. Whew, that's an extra cup. So I thought I only needed to get 8 cups of water, and now I've got to get 9. How in the world am I going to get 9 cups of water in? And for those of you all who don't like water, I know a lot of you all are just like, gag, I cannot drink plain old water. Let's figure out how to get 9 cups in, okay? So this was 9 cups of water. Let me put these up. These are unused cups. So let me put these up real quick. And we're just going to use 1 cup at a time. So this is 1 cup, or 16 fluid ounces, and we're gonna figure out how to get in 9 cups of water. So first thing I'm gonna say is it does not have to be unadulterated plain water. I am going to use plain water in my example just because I will drink it. I do like plain water. I do like, though, don't worry about the brand name. I do like, yeah, okay, Sarah says she doesn't know how many she's getting because she loves ice. That's okay. That is okay. So spring water. I love spring water. I love the way it tastes. If you've got like a natural artesian well anywhere near you, that's the best. But again, it doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be just plain. It can be anything. So you can count as water other things besides just plain unadulterated water, except for one thing. I will say some of these I still think need to be consumed in moderation, but let's chat a little bit about these. So this is 1 cup, okay? So here is 1 cup of water. Okay, so there's 1 cup of water. Now you can count your first cup of coffee in the morning. You can count more than 1 cup of coffee in the morning. So here is a cup of water. This is a normal coffee cup. And I'm gonna say that in this normal coffee cup, you can get a little bit more than 1 cup of water. So I'm gonna keep going. Okay, so in this normal coffee cup, a normal sized coffee cup, not even the size that I normally drink out of, this is just a normally sized coffee mug, there's already 1 and a smidge cups of water. So we've already got that knocked down. Then let's say that we're, moving on through our day and we go to lunch and we decide, you know what, I'm going to have a glass of tea at lunch. I did not have a to-go cup. So let's pretend like we're at a regular restaurant. We've gone out to lunch with some other friends or some work friends. So here is just a regular glass, nothing fancy about it. And we're going to have just a glass of water, a glass of lemon water, a glass of unsweet tea, something like that. Diet lemonade maybe. So now we've already had 2 of our 9. We're working on number 3. We've already almost had 3. So just by having our morning cup of coffee and having 1 glass of water at lunch, and again, it can be ice water, it can be lemon water, it can have a little bit of lemon, it can have a little bit, sometimes I like to have them put lime in it instead of lemon. Sometimes I like it plain, sometimes I like it with something. It can be fizzy water, it could be a diet drink, it could be unsweet tea, something like that. As long as it doesn't have any extra calories in it, yeah, you can still count it as water. So we're almost up to 3 already, and we're just barely done with lunch. Okay, then we have an afternoon snack. So for our afternoon snack, we just need a little pick-me-up. So for our pick-me-up, we're gonna make something special like some tea. So I'm gonna go ahead and get out my favorite mason jar, and I'm gonna put a tea bag in it. And this one is it's a pre-sweetened with an artificial sweetener, and that's okay, because remember, it no longer has to be unadulterated. So I'm just gonna make myself, I need a little pick-me-up at work, so I'm gonna make myself some tea. We're already on cup number 4. Okay, not looking too bad now. So here is cup number 4, and trust me, I can drink this in a day. So there is cup number 4. We actually need a little bit more than 4. So this is starting on cup number 5. If we're going to make our tea, and if we're going to enjoy this, like mid-afternoon, maybe you're going to have this mid-afternoon with some little something, just take a little break from everybody else. You can make this into hot tea. You can make this into hot water with lemon, or you can just make some refrigerator tea. We've already had 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're working on our 5th cup. So that'll be a nice little refrigerator tea for tomorrow. Okay. Then this one I'm not going to pour anything in, but I'm going to move one of the cups to represent this. So let's say that you enjoy a diet beverage. And so for dinner tonight, you're going to have a diet beverage and you're going to have a Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. Not going to lie, I fished this out of the recycling here at work because I can't drink carbonated beverages. And Kelsey had this with her lunch on Saturday. So thanks, Kelsey. I dug this out of your recycling. So let's say that you're going to have, a Dr. Pepper Zero. Totally fine. You're going to have a Coke Zero. You're going to have some kind of unsweetened beverage you could have. It could be, some Crystal Light or something like that. So this is 12 fluid ounces. So I'm going to move an empty cup. I'm not going to fill this up with water. So I'm going to move an empty cup over here. So there's another cup of water. But maybe after dinner, you went out for some adult beverages. This is not going to count, okay? So let's say that this is a beer or this is, you wouldn't have a glass of wine, I don't think, in an aluminum cup. But let's just say that this is a beer, you've gone out, for the evening, or if, if you just enjoy a beer on your back porch or whatever, an alcoholic beverage, that's the one thing that will not count. So you cannot count caloric beverages, and you cannot caloric beverages. That doesn't mean if you added fruit to it. That doesn't mean, so don't crush up the fruit, don't squeeze the fruit juice, even though that does count towards your liquid consumption. Try not to add any extra points or calories to it. But an alcoholic beverage, you can't count that as water, as plain water. So I have to put this one over here. So we do not get to count that one as water. Now earlier Barbara said, wow, that cup's been around for a while. This is a tumbler that was gifted to me years ago, and I keep this one on my desk. So I keep this one or one similar to this on my desk. This is one that I keep a straw in, and I just threw out the day. So this is not my cup of coffee for breakfast. So it's not this. It's not my cup of coffee for breakfast. This is not my glass of iced tea at lunch or my glass of water with some lime at lunch. It's not my pick-me-up refrigerator tea that I'm going to have in the afternoon. It is certainly not my Dr. Pepper Zero that I have with my dinner. This is just the one that I'm going to keep at my desk and I'm going to sip on. Let's see if I'm going to make it for the day. So there's the rest of this cup. I may have to fill this up another time. Oh, I think I'm going to be shy. 1 cup, maybe a little over a cup. Yep, I'm going to be shy. So even having this at my desk, I'm going to be shy 1 1/2 cups of water. So that's with the new amount. That's with my new goal of 9 cups or 72 ounces of water. I'm only shy 1.5 cups. So I'm 1/2 of a cup away from my old goal of 84 ounces of water a day. I'm only 1.5 cups away from my new goal. So a couple of things that I could do to make this up. One is, and I already do this, one is I have 2 cups of coffee and they're a little bit bigger than this. So I get to count both of my cups of coffee. The other thing that I do, so that would be plenty, that would be all of it. The other thing I do is I make myself drink my coffee mug, which is actually, my coffee mug's actually this size, which holds just a little more. Let's see how much mine does hold. So my actual coffee mug that I use, that's one from here at work. My actual coffee mug gets rid of that half. So I've already consumed the other half of mine just using my normally sized coffee mug. And I usually have 2 cups this size of coffee. So that means I've already gotten rid of that. But as an added bonus, before I have my first cup of coffee, I fill this up with water, drink the whole thing. I go ahead and take my medicine in the morning. I take it with water. I do not take it with coffee. So I've already had 1 whole coffee mug. If I had a regularly sized coffee mug, that would be right at 1 cup of water. If I have my normal sized coffee mug, it's about 1.5 cups of water. So I've already had that before I get started with my coffee for the day. And now that coffee counts, everything that I'm drinking except a caloric beverage or except for an alcoholic beverage, I'm not drinking alcoholic beverages, but for those of you who do, all the rest of this counts. So my cup of water before my cup of coffee counts. My giant cup of coffee counts. My water at lunch counts. My water, my treat unsweet refrigerator tea counts. I don't drink this, but Kelsey does. My Dr. Pepper Zero at dinner counts. The water that I keep at my desk and just sip on throughout the day, that counts. So since all of that counts, I have, and Barbara wants me to recap how many ounces of water in a day. I've been doing trying for 84, 64, but the new recommended amount is 72 for women, which is 9 cups of water a day, and I can't do the cup stacking thing, which is 9, and for men, the new amount is 104 ounces, which is 13 cups of water. Those are the new recommended amounts. But do you all see how easy that was? So again, not doing a night market with Casey, not doing a day market with Casey that has a porta potty. These are under normal circumstances, drinking my cup of water in the morning to take my medicine, drinking my coffee, drinking water or like fruit water at lunch, having a nice lovely treat of unsweet tea for an afternoon snack, having a diet soda for dinner, and sipping on just some water. It could be fruit flavored water. It could have like that Mio or something like that, Crystal Light or something in it. Just having that. Don't panic. Don't freak out. And yes, Alyssa would do a much better job of this. I am going to get, if I just stay on top of this and just have my normal things, don't skip it. Don't try to not drink anything because there's a porta potty. But there's already those 9 glasses of water. So I am no longer panicking about getting in my water. I'm just going to do my normal things. I'm going to make sure, because this is the bulk of this is the biggest amount that I drink in a day and I don't want to say at one time because this is throughout the whole day. If I just make sure that I'm sipping on this, every few minutes, every hour, every 30 minutes, whatever, if I just make sure that I'm sipping on this throughout the day at my desk, I've already got the rest of it handled. The rest of it is absolutely handled. So I hope y'all will have some great ideas for how to get in some water. If you're going to focus on fiber this week, you've got to get in enough water or we're going to be having a completely different discussion. But okay, so I hope y'all enjoyed this. Thank you again for letting me rest my voice. I hope y'all have a great week. If you are watching this on YouTube, just go ahead and let that next video roll over. Again, that's just youtube.com, search If You Have an Egg, and I will try really hard to remember to post Barbara's doctor always tells her, drink water. Well, and I've been preaching drink water at the halfway point to y'all for years, so probably for 5 or 6 years, I don't know. But yeah, if y'all just let that roll over and go ahead and subscribe, and I will try to remember to post the link for that list so that y'all have it later if you don't know where to find that. But y'all have a great week. Get plenty to drink. Focus on the fiber. Get lots to drink though. Lots of extra to drink to make sure that fiber is doing what it's supposed to. And I hope y'all enjoy some delicious complex carbohydrates this week while you're getting your fiber. Have a great week, and I will see you next time. Good night.